planning to talk about a whole lot of things NFL-wise, but
Right.
as the Lakers-Warriors game was going on, some news broke in regards to the Rams and the Chargers. The Rams QB coach, or the Rams pass game coordinator, Zach Robinson, is now the new OC at Atlanta, and will be taking over there. There were rumors that he'd be doing so once Raheem Morris got hired by the Falcons, as they had ties together with the Rams when they both were here, and he now is going to be following to ATL to be the new OC. So salute to him. Also on the flip side, going to the Chargers, Kellen Moore, who was a guy that we had wanted to kind of hold on to, is now going to be going to Philly. They originally had tried to hold on to him and blocked a few teams from interviewing him early on in the process, but once Harbaugh came in, they decided they were going to start looking for other candidates for their OC, and that he was free to go talk to other teams, and he quickly lands in Philly, as Ian Rappaport noted there. So salute to both of them. My question to you is, with Kellen Moore in Philly and Zach Robinson in ATL, who will be more impactful for their new team? You think we're going to see a jump again from Jalen Hurts, or you think that Atlanta will finally get something figured out with Desmond Ridder or Jalen Hurts potentially as their QB?
Or did you mean Justin Fields?
Justin Fields, excuse me.
Yeah.
Hurts in Philly.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Most likely, I would say Atlanta, honestly, just because, like, I feel like there are some limitations there with Jalen Hurts that we saw this season. Maybe it was more just with his physical ailments. Like, maybe it was lingering injury that he was kind of playing through, and we aren't privy to. But he seemed to take kind of a regression from his previous season, where he was an MVP caliber QB. The turnovers, a lot of them did not look good. Nope. Didn't quite look as explosive either, which I think could lead to maybe he was playing through some stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was like, if it wasn't the tush push, like it wasn't super effective on the offensive side. So to that point, Kellen Moore obviously can make a positive impact. He's a great OC, mm-hmm. And I think it will be a good thing, a plus to have him in there as the OC. But I think he being Jalen Hurts, really misses Shane Steichen there as his QB coach. So maybe if they can bring in a guy at the QB coach position that can kind of help Jalen refine that form that he had in 2022, I guess it was. That could lead to a better season from him. But I think in Atlanta, they sorely are missing some offensive vision and development there, mm-hmm. especially in the passing game. And obviously you're limited by having Desmond Ridder, who's not a great passer. So bringing in a Justin Fields or someone else at QB would also help. But I think that could be the bigger impact, just because of the Falcons having been kind of in the gutter in comparison to where the Eagles are. Mm-hmm. The Eagles were still a 10-11 win team. Right. Well, the Falcons were not a playoff team. So I think they can have the bigger jump with this new regime going forward.
I agree with that. Also, as you see pictured here, just that amount of talent that they have there. I know Philly has talent, of course, themselves, but if Zach was just to go in and use the talent that's been allotted to him, like, hey, you have pieces all over the field here. Bijan is a star in the making. Kyle Pitts should be a star in the making. Drake London is a very respectable receiver on the outside, and they've just continued to find pieces that could go around them as they figure out what's going to be going on in the backfield with their QB situation. So, if he comes in and says, hey, we're going to feed these guys the ball, we're going to let them be out in space and do what they want to do as they can. We saw at least somewhat, he was somewhat the passing coordinator, seeing what he was able to do with Matt Stafford here in LA, and how he was able to use, for example, when Puka was out, when Cooper Kupp was out, was able to utilize Puka early on the season before we even knew who Puka was, and made him work. And we found moments where a guy like a Tutu Atwell stepped up, or Demarcus Robinson stepped up out of nowhere, and things of that nature. If he's able to show that he can continue to find hidden gems or make something where nothing is, or just take advantage of the talent that truly is there. I think it could be finally be a special thing in Atlanta again. So I'll lean to him in this question. But I do still respect Kellen Moore. There are some folks that are very happy to see him gone, and folks were frustrated because of the offense and how it was last season. But I think there was a large part of that we have to acknowledge was because of the talent on the field itself. We had injuries all season long. We had guys that weren't living up to their potential, to be blunt, and that is what it is. But the play calling itself, there were a couple of games where we had issues, of course, as we had in the past, but it seemed like the play calling was there. The players just weren't showing up to execute as need be. And maybe it's just a similar situation. That's a tough bounce around in regards to Kellen Moore, from Dak, and when he had his turnover injury problems a couple of years ago. You have the Chargers, as they just had their health concerns their whole tenure. Now you're going to Jalen Hurts, who had turnover problems last year. And if you come into this situation and he has more of the same, it's going to be tough to continue to elevate him in people's eyes as they have. But I think he can alleviate some of the pressure that Jalen Hurts had last year and continue to open up the offense as it should be with the pieces that are there, with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith taking another step this next year. So he'll work in both situations, but in regards to more impactful, like I said to the beginning, I do think Robinson will make it happen there. So go ahead.
I will say I was a little surprised that Kellen Moore was leaving after just one season with the Chargers. Probably like the money talked being a part of it, but also it seems like if he's out as the OC right after Harbaugh came in, that Harbaugh is probably bringing in one of his guys that he likes as offensive coordinator. And I'm fine with that because the Chargers need a culture change. They need a regime change in a sense as well too. So from the top down, like it's starting with new GM and I believe they still need to hire the GM. They're still interviewing for that position, correct?
Yeah, I might miss that.
Yeah. So if it's got to be a whole new regime, I'm fine with that. I was just a little bit caught off guard by hearing the news that Kellen Moore.
Yeah, a few was supposed to time ago. They kind of popped out of nowhere. We watched the Laker game and all of that, and all of a sudden, breaking news: Kellen Moore is gone. So caught about surprise, but there must be a plan in place. And as you said, the Harbaugh just have some great connections across the league that he can take advantage of and make something happen. Top of the list, as I noted before, Rick Roman seems to be a guy that folks are favoring. I know I've had my things to say as a scarred Ravens fan and seeing what he did in Baltimore, but if he is the way that they go, it can work. It would just be a new situation for him, going from having the running quarterbacks he's had in the past with the Niners when he was there, with Harbaugh, going to Lamar. And
the Harbaugh brothers keeping Greg Roman paid? That's what you're saying?
I guess so. That's where they were going. Then so be it. And he can make this offense go. I would definitely have to get some more. If we talk about revamping the running game, I'll have to get some more backs back there that can really make things happen. So we'll see how that happens with the draft and all of that. So interesting choice. But also, I've seen some names float around. David Shaw, who was there with Harbaugh in Stanford and was there with Andrew Luck, as you saw, took over Harbaugh once he left and was the head coach there for a long while and did a great job. He was in the head coaching carousel this offseason. The names were really floated around, and the Chargers ended up going with Harbaugh, obviously, but his name's still circulating as he did impress folks during interviews and things. So if Harbaugh says, "Hey, come join me on the NFL side of things," can't remember the last time that David Shaw was in the NFL. My apologies on that, but I do know he was a head coach in college. So if he comes to LA as the OC, I think they can work. He was there with Andrew Luck and saw what a great passer he was. If he can tap into what Justin Herbert has and really elevate him as a passer, I think that'd be great as well. And then lastly, of note, there were a couple other guys that are floating around, a Lions coordinator as well, and a couple other guys in the playoffs. But the two that stood out to me were David Shaw, and then I believe his name was Pip Hamilton. My apologies if I get that wrong. He was for the Texans last couple of years ago with Davis Mills before C.J. Stroud got there. But there was a moment at least where we saw Davis Mills and respected him at least. We didn't necessarily weren't saying he was a top QB like C.J. Stroud at all.
People thought he was a franchise guy.
Was drafted low and showed some decency as the Texans were in full rebuild mode, and that was because of what Coach Tony Hamilton did there, and he is a respected coach. He was with the XFL last and did a good job with the defenders. So coming back to the NFL, I think he definitely could be very serviceable for our squad and being somewhat of a passing guru, as I saw some folks that know him to be. Again, open up the pass game, I think is a big thing with Justin Herbert as our main focus. I think could work out. So we'll see where they go. But again, I'll just ask you, you don't necessarily have to say names, but what direction would you want to see the Chargers go as they aim for the next OC? You want to go kind of run heavy or focus on the pass game?
In terms of the OC, probably focusing on the pass game, but bringing in, as we've talked about, bringing in a couple guys at the running back position, because that is a position that's been a sore spot for the team. So still need to bring in a 3-down guy, a change of pace guy, because Eckler and Joshua Kelly don't seem to be that. But I think, yeah, with the talent that you have in Justin Herbert, I assume they're going to be trying to target some more skill position players, some more receivers. I think you talked about Brock Bowers in one of the last episodes. But with going for more pass catchers and having a potential top 5 QB in the league with this new regime, I think I would want to go lean into the pass and lean into utilizing this elite QB in Justin Herbert. So.
Yeah, definitely heavily in the passing area right now. Guys are swinging all over the place, and Justin Herbert seems like a guy that definitely can do the same. So I want to continue to maximize his potential. We've been saying for a long while now, and let him throw the ball as much as he can. So yeah, we'll see what the Chargers do to best support him in that, and we'll continue to follow that along all off season. So another thing that'll be on LA Sports Report for you guys. You can check that out. Follow us, show love to the page, and we'll be back with more Chargers content as more news breaks throughout the offseason there. So good stuff on that front.